Hello, welcome to my kitchen. Today is tofu day. I know it doesn't sound exciting or something you want to eat, but I'm gonna change that. I eat tofu at a very young age where I came from in Penang, Malaysia. It was introduced to Malaysia by Chinese immigrants who came from Fujian province in China. That's where my ancestors came from. Tofu has been consumed in China for centuries. So what is tofu? Tofu, also known as beancurd here in Australia, is soybean grounded with water, heated and coagulated to curd using calcium or magnesium salt before pressing into blocks. It's just like making cheese. So is it healthy to eat? Yes, it is packed with protein and has zero cholesterol. It's a good substitute if you're vegetarian to eat tofu. Taste-wise, I have to admit, it is bland, but it can be delicious if you know how to use it. I'm gonna show you how to make a delicious tofu dish. In my tofu series, with this first episode, making use of silken tofu. If this sounds interesting to you, stick around. We just need some very basic ingredients for today's recipe. The main ingredient obviously is the silken tofu over here. I'm gonna use some pork mince, not much, dried shiitake mushrooms. Chinese love using dried shiitake mushrooms because it has a stronger flavor and it tastes very earthy. The dried shiitake mushrooms need to be soaked in water first. I have already soaked the shiitake mushrooms over here. Spring onions, a fresh red chili, 2 eggs, some salt, white pepper, and cornstarch. The sauce we're using is oyster sauce, light soy, and sesame oil. Slicing the spring onion. Next, the red chili. Chop it until it's really fine. For the dried shiitake mushroom, as you can see, once it's soaked in water, it kinds of balloon and almost double in size. It soaks up all the water. So what we want is we want to cut it very finely as well. Make sure we remove the stem, which is quite woody and hard. Do not throw the water away that has been soaked with the mushroom. We're going to use the water to make the sauce. In a bowl, add the pork mince, half of the chopped mushrooms, 1 tablespoon of light soy, 1 tablespoon of sesame oil, a dash of salt and white pepper to taste. Mix and combine the ingredients through thoroughly. Add the 2 eggs. Mix the eggs with all the other ingredients thoroughly until they are nicely combined. Lastly, we want to add a 1/4 cup of water. Keep stirring until it is very smooth, and once it's finished, we want to pour into a shallow bowl. Next is to remove the tofu from its container. To do this, we will use a kitchen paper towel. We will flip the container over to sit on the kitchen paper towel to soak the liquid. We will let it sit there between 30 seconds and 1 minute before removing the tofu. It's so much easier to get the tofu out of the container this way. The next thing is to slice the tofu very thin about 1 centimeter apart. Gently slide the tofu to sit on top of the egg mixture. I have filled up the wok with water, leaving about 1 to 2 inches of space between the surface of the water and the base of the bamboo steamer. The first thing I want to do is to filter the water that I have soaked the dried shiitake mushroom to make sure that the water looks nice and clean, and add some cornstarch. I'm going to add in a little bit of white pepper, 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce, heat up the pan on low to medium heat. Pour in about 1 tablespoon of cooking oil. Toss in the shiitake mushrooms. The next thing I want to add is the spring onions and the chili. And the sauce. So basically the chili, the spring onions, and the mushroom were infused together into the sauce. I can actually smell it. Smells beautiful. This is good enough. Okay, so turn off the heat. I'm gonna pour the sauce over my tofu. I'm gonna try this. It's yummy. It has that punch of the chili in it as well. I hope you enjoy watching the show today and all excited to try out this silken tofu recipe. I guarantee you will love it and will think differently about tofu once you try this recipe. It's not bland, it's utterly delicious, full of flavor with the spring onions, the slight spice of the chili, and the dried shiitake mushroom gives it a very nice earthy flavor, and the pork mince. Everything works so well in this dish, and it's healthy. It's steamed. I only use very little oil just to make the sauce. Next week, I'm going to show you another tofu dish using a different kind of tofu. If you enjoy watching the show today, remember to subscribe so you don't miss anything. Until then, stay safe, happy cooking, and I'll see you next week. Ciao.